Hi everyone, I'm the Bained Hero. For those who are new, may not know that the past 5 years, I've been making some original skits with my collection of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure based cosplays. Don't look too deep in my channel for the cringe warning. Some videos don't hit it out of the park, like
that's a baseball! JoJo's. Jaggers!
First things you want to do when starting out Mista's Sex Pistol stand is get a grasp of how big or small you'll need your props to be. I do not have a printer, nor are there clear examples to even print out cleanly, so I took a swing at drawing from screen grabs based on the anime and manga for the bullets and tangible revolver itself. If you're like me, being super cheap and want things a specific way, then follow my directions. If you're ballin' and can afford the best materials or having things commissioned, consider donating, because I don't have a job right now and I could use the funds to put food on the table. Most tools can be bought for pretty cheap at a nearby Harbor Freight where I got most of mine from. Hit me up, Harbor Freight, if you want to collab or sponsor any DIY projects. Get yourself some rotary tool. Doesn't have to be high-end, however. Between the Chicago Electric rotary tool from Harbor Freight versus the Wen brand rotary tool from Amazon, I'd prefer the Wen brand because after 2 hours of using each respective tool, only the Chicago Electric rotary made my hands tired or numb due to the vibrations transferred. Any cheap snap-away blades or box cutters can work if not for the specific craft knives, but definitely invest in a blade sharpener because those keep the cuts clean even with expensive X-Acto knives which dull over a few passes. In order to adhere the pieces, I use contact cement, hot glue, or E6000 for the magnetic pieces. Put a pin in that for later. Make sure to wear breathing masks that block any dust or particles entering your nose or mouth, and also wear any safety goggles to protect your eyes. Your templates can be drawn on any scrap paper or cardstock. Again, I'm cheap, so I use junk mail that has blank spaces. Hot Taylor Swift reference. Along with a reliable pen or fine tip marker. Once I found a design that I was happy with respectively, I took the utility knife to certain lines of the drawing and essentially made fold-away sections to then transfer onto the EVA foam, then flipped the tracing template to obtain a smooth, mirrored side of the revolver. When cutting the template, be sure to not go overboard where it turns into a puzzle of tiny sections. You want to cut, but still have everything attached at some point, using legend marks to know where points end or intersect. So you have the templates and ratios to where you like. For intricate detailing like indentations or raised surfaces, differentiate by marking the difference in depths. I went with key widths and directions of lines respectively. An example would be around the trigger and guard portions of the revolver, all of which need to appear on different planes, but per most convention prop rules, the trigger cannot be functional. As I had plans to go on flights to different conventions with this cosplay, I didn't want it to be questioned in the x-rays for any contents being real gun shapes, so I designed breakaway points that join together via magnets. I just hollowed out cavities for the magnets once the main sections were detailed, joined, then glued into place. There will be areas of imperfections when you join the two pieces of EVA foam together, no matter how careful you are. Don't beat yourself up. That can be resolved by filler hot glue, as not seen in the final product because I'm a pro. Now you can go ahead and hit the subscribe button and comment with your favorite JoJo reference. Woo! Most of the techniques and use of a rotary tool came from practice on scrap pieces of EVA foam with various rotary bits. Don't be discouraged if they don't come out right the first try like mine did here. It only resulted from motivation of me being super cheap, unable to afford more foam, so I was very careful in my rotary usage. Poor people like me can't afford to make a lot of mistakes. Finally, for any surface that you are stacking or adhering together, you will need refined, smoother textures in order for the glue to bond once spread and tackiness obtained. The working window is usually around 30 seconds to 4 minutes. Oh no. Did I just use a number 4 in a Mista cosplay tutorial? Oh no! You may need fine tip paintbrushes along with paints and clear coats, but I will leave those up to your artistic tastes. I took from what most would call trash, when I'm over here stockpiling like some cosplaying squirrel with some craft wire and egg cartons, I assembled a hanging line to suspend the various painting pieces, which offers quick passes around the 3D prop, rather than painting one side, waiting to dry, then painting the other side. What a time saver, am I right?
And I love it when a plan shirt together.
You said it, Qui-Gon Jinn. On to the cute bullets for Sex Pistols. I chose number 5 because he's the MVP crybaby who brought the ice. Remember that time when people counted on you to bring the ice but you didn't, so everybody had room temperature drinks? Pepperidge Farm remembers. No MVP for you. Whatever craft wire gauge they sell at dollar stores can suffice, but thicker gauge galvanized wire is recommended, at least for the center base of the props for the bullet Sex Pistols, all manipulated by 2 sets of pliers, usually needle nose or standard plier. I found that colored Sculpey clay works well to make the base for the bullets. I used simple tools. I started with a heavier gauge wire to form the center body where the head will attach, then routed various twists of thinner wire to form the legs and arms, much like how a skeleton functions, or Voltron. For the head, I wanted a way to mount what could work like a bobblehead or have some articulation. I ended up being too scared that it would break, so I didn't check to see how far it would articulate. Then shaped a teardrop point where foil could fill up the volume and thus weigh less, since a solid head of full clay would be crazy dense. I watched how claymation folks make their models and went with a kind of fondant layering technique for the head over the foil and wire base. I enveloped the skeleton wire bits for the arms and legs with symmetrical portions of clay and refined most of the details with the pencil, paintbrush handle, paperclip, and old credit cards to get the desired model details in. I followed the heating directions of an empty oven. To protect from burns, I pitched a small foil semi-cover, much like how a carport works, to shade your car from blocking the direct heat. When the timer was up, I pulled out the baked clay model and let it cure for at least a day before painting the details in, mainly because I wasn't sure if it would shrink or react with the paint. I added the resin ice shard to represent the crybaby bullet saving the day. Taken later to Anime Los Angeles for his debut, as seen on my Instagram. So I tried the ridges off of the syrup bottle, but it didn't pan out the way I wanted it to. It'd be too much work and it would have seams that are undesirable. So I tried can with 1, failed. This is part 2. Rotary tool with the sandy bit like this. You want to take down the edging of the surface that looks rough like this. And you want to make it relatively smooth. You end up having the pieces look like this on the side. See how this one's a smooth and this one's smooth as well. Now we're going to apply a piece of scrap EVA foam to spread the weldwood contact cement onto sides. Once we get that joined, we want to make sure that they're all aligned, and then we go into detailing to make these all come to life. Make sure to follow there too. If you hadn't already subscribed to my YouTube channel yet, help my unemployed self out by subscribing, sharing this or another video of mine out to a friend, and typing up in the comments how you want a tutorial on Mista's hat and crop top turtleneck shirt. I'm the Band Hero. Explore your true potential and be the hero of your own story.